so this is the Obelisk Summit demo that I put together just to give you all a brief overview of the functionality that I've been able to achieve so far. Really, there's three main things that I'm going to discuss that I think were vital. That's what I focused on right now. One is the vignette triggers. I guess triggers in general, basically having user interaction start or stop some kind of functionality within the game, within the world. And the second will be teleportation. This is moving characters from position to position within the world space. And then I'll discuss a little bit about the post-processing, which can give us a aesthetic. Basically, it's camera functionality. You'll be able to change the way things look, the feel of the environment. I'm going to leave this off while I'm showing the demo because it's pretty labor intensive. I want things to look as smooth as possible for the demo. It's not really vital, but yeah. So those are the things I'm going to focus on right now. So I guess the first would be the triggers. In this example, I don't know if you can see, I have it simply triggered by the interaction of the character. It's a rigid body interacting with the colliders set to triggers so that you don't move the colliders around. And when those are registered in code, when those are registered in code, it triggers the video to automatically play. Now, later on, I'll mess around. Yeah, it's on collision, enter and exit to start and stop the video. But later on, I'm going to work on having user interface, maybe pop up or do something like that where the characters can start or stop, or if we really want to, we can do some timing behaviors so that they can they can loop on a certain time or interact with a certain group of people that move into the area at any particular time. But we'll get to that. So that's the first thing I'm going to show. So let me give you a quick example of that. I apologize for the wait time. Running OBS on my computer, and I'm also using the webcam, and the compiler with Cayenne Emo is a little bit wonky, so it'll take just a second for this to start up. Alright, so moving in, you can see the character is just going to pass over the collider and the video will start automatically. It may be a little bit jagged, because like I said, it's pretty intensive on the GPU, but
months ago when he was here to fight Howard King,
and of course, as I step off, the video automatically stops.
A guy on the elbows and just about break his arm.
This is the legend of Cassius Clay, the most beautiful fighter in the virtually invincible world today.
Okay, so that's that. And then I have a timer function. I don't know if you remember, I believe I sent the message to Nick, I may have also sent it to Blair. I was talking about how you can't use certain functions because Udon Sharp inherits from the Udon Sharp behavior, whereas regular scripts, when you're regularly working with Unity, it'll inherit from what's called mono behavior. It gives you all sorts of classes and functions, different methods. Here you can see this is a Udon Sharp behavior, and for the script that I'm using, it's inheriting from mono behavior. So that'll cause some issues when I'm working with code. For example, I usually use my timing functions. I'll use a coroutine, which is very light on the CPU, and it's also it's very easy to code. Whereas for the timing functions, like in my code, I have to work with the update function, which using time.delta time, so it's not very consistent, and it can be a little bit more labor intensive because it's constantly running the code and checking for the if-else statements, but it works. So anyway, the next element is going to be the teleportation. Now I'm just using the simplest possible blend, but of course you can use particle effects, you can instantiate videos to overlay on the screen, characters to start dialogue, and as we move forward through the project, I'll be adding those elements to give you better examples. But you can see as the character passes and collides with the ball we have here, it takes about 3 seconds, and you'll teleport to the second area here. In this example, I just built this little area over here with Pro Builder, but teleported from this location over to here. You can see my character here moving around. So now he's over here. And I just added another teleport to the area. And just to give you all an example of, I guess, some of the options we have here, I have a ton of assets. This is just a regular gallery asset that I added into the project to give a sense of, scale and aesthetic that we can go for. All the pieces in this project are completely modular, and you can move anything around or delete it or move it. So a lot of options here to work with. I have nearly 200 assets that we can choose from to add to the project. Really, we have everything we need. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I have a Cinemachine, which is good for creating videos inside of the project. Let's see. Of course, I already added post-processing. Salsa with Randomize is good for, you can literally type in dialogue and the characters will speak them out, and it'll track eye movement. I can also do that with OpenCV and record the animations and then add them to the game. And just really, anything you need. Cinemachine, Cinema Suite is great too, also for making videos. So yeah, but also these assets are good for, or these, I guess the assets are really good for adding, elements to the scene, like background elements, trees and rocks and benches, and just anything, pretty much anything you need. Mocap animations, effects. So there's a lot that we can work with. Back to the project, we also have, let me just give you a quick overview of some of the post-processing. I know that, I think it was Idris that said he wanted to do something with a Stranger Things effect. I might try to work on that this weekend and get something that looks comparable to that, at least for the hallway. Robert, I know you mentioned that you wanted a retro game aesthetic. I mean, there are pre-built games that I can add into the project just to give a sense of functionality right off the bat. There's tons of little 2D games I can add in there that we can, of course, tweak and work around later on. I know you said something about a Thrilla Manila aesthetic. There's a great prepackaged asset that I have that's it has a jungle. I have assets for a boxing ring, basketballs, pretty much anything you need, but just take a little bit of time for it to get to work with code. Let me give you an example of some of the post-processing, because this is some really, really cool stuff. Okay, so you can see right now I have a few effects going right now. You can change things like the intensity of vignette, which is just a little scope for the viewport in the game. Bloom, of course, which is just adding a little environmental lighting. Ambient occlusion, I'm sure you guys know what all this stuff is. Motion blur, so when the character moves around, you can see this effect a lot in people who build for Unreal Engine. Color grading, give it like a filmic effect. So right off the bat, we have a lot we can work with. I'll definitely, as we move forward with the project, be passing it back with Jose so he can beta test, give me feedback, add assets and elements. And it was great at modeling, so I'm sure he'll have some great ideas. And just as familiarity with VR and the community and functionality within VR chat, I'll definitely be looking to Jose for a lot of guidance. But yeah, I'll let you all know and try to keep you updated for my progress moving forward. I apologize that it took me so long. I had issues. The project had started to crash for some reason. I really don't know why. And I had to back up to a project, but because Udon Sharp saves its cache to a separate location, when I reloaded the project, the metadata files didn't add up, so it crashed as soon as I started Unity, so I had to go and clear a bunch of stuff. But I got it worked out, and I should be able to have a more steady and consistent schedule moving forward. But yeah, if you have any questions, any suggestions, anything you all think I should maybe make as a priority, I'll go over the Airtable, or not Airtable, the Miro board, and try to incorporate those elements best we can. Hopefully in the next meeting, if everybody's okay with it, I'll do maybe I'll record just the audio with OBS and try to get this thing going. So yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know. I'll be happy to get back to all. Bye.